Today I'm gonna tell you some jokes. You see, even though I'm a comedian, I'm actually a very, very poor joke teller. I can tell good stories and make them funny, but I cannot tell jokes. We thought this would make a great video. I'm gonna tell you the jokes that I most rely on when someone says, "Tell me a joke." Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting turtle.
Interrupting turtle who?
Cop pulls Heisenberg over and says, "Do you know how fast you were going?" Heisenberg says, "No, but I know where I am." Physics joke. This is a joke my mother wrote when she was a child. "Mommy, mommy, can I have pizza?" "No." My mother was never allowed to have pizza. No, they didn't have kosher pizza in the 1940s, Doug. There's this family made of coal, and one day the father comes home, but he's not coal anymore, he's a diamond. So mother says to the children, "Your father's been under a lot of pressure." So a guy dies, and he gets to heaven, and St. Peter is guarding the pearly gates of heaven. And St. Peter says, "All you have to do to get into heaven is to spell the word that I'm gonna give you." Guy says, "Okay, what's the word?" St. Peter says, "Love." Guy says, "Love." Boom, into heaven, that easy. So the guy's walking through the gates of heaven, and St. Peter gets a call from God that God needs to speak to him. And he says, "Can you guard the gates for a second? I gotta go talk to God." Guy says, "Sure." So the guy's sitting there, not 5 minutes, and who walks up? His wife. And he says, "Honey, what are you doing here?" She says, "I was on the way to your funeral, and there was a car accident, and I died, but now I'm here, we're here together." And he says, "Wow, okay, all you need to do to get into heaven is to spell this word that I'm gonna give you." She says, "Okay, what's the word?" Guy says, "Czechoslovakia." So the computer programmer's wife says to him, "Go to the market and get a loaf of bread. If they have eggs, get a dozen." Computer programmer comes home with 12 loaves of bread. This general in the army gets word that one of his new recruits' mothers has passed away, and he has to figure out a way to tell this new recruit that his mother died. So he's up all night, he's pacing the floors, he can't figure out what's the best way to do this, and finally he decides on a way. Next morning, all the recruits line up for roll call, and he says, "Everyone whose mother is still alive, take 1 step forward." Not so fast, Goldstein. So a frog walks into a bank, wants to get a loan. So he sees the loan officer's name is Mrs. Whack, and he says, "Hello, Mrs. Whack, I need to get a loan." And she says, "You're a frog. What's your name?" And he says, "My name is Fred Jagger." She says, "Jagger, like Mick Jagger?" He says, Yeah, my dad's Mick Jagger." Anyway, she says, "Okay, do you have anything for collateral?" And he takes out a teeny tiny elephant figurine. She says, "This is your collateral?" He says, "Yeah." She says, "I gotta talk to my manager, I'll be right back." So she goes to her manager's office and she knocks on the door and she says, "It's Patty." Manager says, "Come on in." And she says, "I got this frog out there. It says his name is Fred Jagger. He wants to get a loan and this is his collateral. What is this?" Manager looks at it and says, "It's a knick-knack, Paddywhack. Give the frog a loan. His old man was a rolling stone." Okay, I changed my mind. I'm a great joke teller. Subscribe to my channel. See you next time.